And I swear, my heart just skipped a beat the moment he used the word sensitive. Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. This is actually my first YouTube video ever, so thank you for supporting me and clicking into this video. I just graduated from college and I studied computational finance. During my junior fall semester, I spent a lot of time playing piano. So this is going to be a video of me compiling all of the short clips that I shot during that semester. It's going to be a combination of a lot of piano practicing, which may or may not be pleasing to the ear, and a lot of me talking to the camera, which is basically talking to myself. So I started playing the piano super early when I was maybe 4 or 5 years old. It was completely my parents' decision and I didn't really enjoy piano at the time. I hated it. I quit playing piano completely when I was in high school because I really didn't enjoy it and I had a lot of schoolwork going on, so I kind of had a good excuse to just step away from it completely. But after I got into college, I feel like piano is actually a really important part of my life. Classical music in general just became this huge passion of mine. It's something that I want to get back into. So junior fall, I finally was, settling down with all of the recruitment stuff, with, finding a job and internship and all of that. So I decided I'm going to take a studio class, a piano studio class with a music professor at CMU. So that's how this whole piano practicing journey started. Without further ado, let's get into the first 10 seconds of me playing Rachmaninoff. That was me not touching piano at all for at least 2 years straight. So now let's see how I started out with learning a new piece, a Bach Partita number 2, which I did end up performing at school by the end of the semester. It's completely new. What I did here is that for the next 30 seconds, it's going to be the very beginning of the partita. I don't want to bore you with the entire piece. It's going to be a combination of the final performance, which is me, all dressed up and sitting in front of this grand piano, versus me just trying to, crack the little glitches at the beginning, like sitting in a practice room and getting everything wrong. One thing I'll have to say about CMU is that it's really not very music student friendly, especially not for non-majors. I don't have access to the practice rooms. I remember when I was in freshman year, I used to be able to swipe into the practice rooms whenever I wanted to, but for some reason they decided that practice rooms are a privilege for music students, music majors only. So whenever I wanted to practice and just get a hold of those shitty pianos, I have to basically wait for a music student to come out of those practice rooms and be like, please hold the door, and sneak in. Also, funny story here. So I have a guy friend who's also really into piano, and he would sometimes, sneak into those practice rooms also. But he told me that he was super scared of the backstage because it was just like I guess it's too scary. Like, it looks like the perfect scene for ghosts. Anyways, so I was like, dude, what are you even talking about? Yeah, it's kind of dark and sketchy, and there's like random drawings on the walls from the 1970s or something, but ghosts are not a real thing, or they're not gonna scare the shit out of you when you're practicing piano. It's nothing to be afraid of. I was like, dude, you're such a chicken. And one day when I was practicing, and he was like, dude, are you practicing in the backstage? I was like, yeah. He's like, oh, what a brave girl. And then 20 seconds later, he just scared the shit out of me in the backstage because he knew I was there, and he was just like, whoo! I kind of deserved it because I was like shaming him for being a chicken. But anyways, even after that incident happened, I still continued to practice in the ghost room. Also, just to give you a more concrete idea of what I mean by shitty pianos, hello, so you can see here I'm in the practice room again, and I just practiced for 2 hours. Yeah, 2 hours. And I'm gonna practice a little more after class today. I have a class in half an hour, the natural language processing. I spend more time here in the practice room than I do in a library nowadays. It's so weird because I used to pretty much live in a library and always doing math. And then this semester my schedule is completely different. I have so much free time. That's why I get to practice for like at least 3 hours every day. It's pretty awesome. It's also, to be very honest, it's making me a little anxious. I feel like I'm living the wrong life, Also, one thing I learned about music students and how they talk about the pieces they're playing and like just the small talks they make. I remember one night I was practicing this Brahms piece that you're about to hear in a minute. I was practicing it super hard, and I really wasn't getting a hold of it. It's fierce, but it's not just fierce. Anyways, there's this violinist practicing there super hard, and then as I walked out of the practice room, and he was like, yo, you were playing Brahms, right? I was like, yeah, it was Brahms. And he was like, yeah, that's such a beautiful piece. And I said, thank you, which I'm totally not supposed to say, because my first reaction was was he complimenting my playing? So I was like naturally gonna say thank you, right? And I realized he was only saying that the piece was a beautiful piece. He was not saying anything about my playing, and I was like, oops. Just a little more background story about where I was at with my piano journey. I remember one day I was handed this kind of semi-new piece to me. It's Schumann Impromptu something. You'll hear it later on and I'll point it out to you. Anyways, I remember partially what it's supposed to sound like, but I definitely have to relearn all of the notes again. And I remember I spent a week trying to pick it up, and then I had a piano lesson with my professor for that piece specifically. And in that lesson, my professor was like, Audrey, you are very sensitive to music. And I swear, my heart just skipped a beat the moment he used the word sensitive, because I feel like that's such a huge compliment to hear from someone whose opinion that you trust. And I feel like this kind of sensitivity, I don't know, it just makes me feel really happy and really rewarded. Like all of this practicing isn't for nothing, that my professor recognizes my effort and maybe also partially my talent. I don't want to sound like I'm bragging or something, but that was a specific moment that I remembered from those lessons that I took with him. Also, a little heads up here, it's gonna turn into Mandarin for like 2 minutes, and then it's gonna switch back into English. 我现在正在学校的一个演出厅，今天晚上运气特别好，因为一般来讲这边其实是锁着的，然后我也进不太来，就算进来了，这边的钢琴也是锁着的，我也没有钥匙，所以一般我这边的琴我都碰不太到，然后今天正好，门没有锁，钢琴也没有锁，所以我就过来练一把。这应该是我这学期最后一节课了。我其实很希望能够有一点结果，但是 unfortunately 就是一首曲子不是在你想弹好的时候就可以弹好。我现在最期待的事情就可以赶紧考完，然后回国。我大概会回上海家里面待一个3-4天，休整一下，调时差，然后我们就会全家，包括就是老人家也会跟我们一起去不丹，大概待2个礼拜。我还挺激动的，因为我之前去了2次，我都特别喜欢，所以每次想到要再回去我都很开心。Well, thank you guys for watching it till the very end. I know we're like probably 10 minutes in or something. Thank you so much for watching it. This is a journey that really means a lot to me. You know, when I was a kid, I feel like piano was something that really deprived me of all of my joy. All of my other friends would be, you know, I don't know, playing in the field or just watching television or cartoons and, you know, all that stuff they do together as kids. And I was just forced to sit on a piano bench for hours straight. And I was actually, all of my piano teachers loved me, and I hated it because I had 2 piano teachers that really, really loved me, and they almost saw me as their own kids. Meaning that they would pick me up after school and I would just be staying with them, maybe even past dinner or like right before bedtime, and they'd be like, practice. And I don't know if you've seen those super thick knitting needles, like even thicker than this. Like, I guess people use it to knit chunky sweaters or something. They would have a needle. When I was practicing, they would sit next to me with a needle, and if I do the scales wrong, they'd be like, what are you doing, Audrey? And they'd hit me with it. So I was like always crying and stuff. Like, why are you treating me like this? Can you please stop? I love the fact that junior fall, I stopped making all those excuses about, you know, there's too much schoolwork, or like, I'm too busy for this and that. I just dropped all of those excuses and I decided I'm going to take the piano lessons seriously and I'm going to practice. And yeah, thank you for watching again and have a great day.